Hi, welcome to Holy Spirit Church. Today we're going to be talking about Elijah and are we alone as we feel? Elijah's single-minded commitment to God shocks and challenges us. He was sent to confront, not to comfort, and he spoke God's words to a king who often rejected his message. Just because he brought it, Elijah chose to carry out his ministry for God alone and paid for that decision. And by experiencing insulation from others who were also faithful to God, it is interesting to think about the amazing miracles God accomplished through Elijah, but he would do well to focus on the relationship they shared. All that happened in Elijah's life began with the same miracle that is available to us. He responded to the miracle of being able to know God. For example, after God worked in over or an over or waning miracle through Elijah in defeating the prophets of Baal, Queen Jezebel related retaliated by threatening Elijah's life, and Elijah ran. He felt afraid, depressed, and abandoned. Despite God's provision of food and shelter in the wilderness, Elijah wanted to die. So God presented Elijah with an audio-visual display and a message he needed to hear. Elijah witnessed a windstorm and an earthquake and fire, but the Lord was not in any of those powerful things. Instead, God displayed his presence in a still small voice. Elijah, struggled with his feelings, even after his confronting message from God. So God comforted Elijah's emotions and his feelings. Even after his comforting message, God comforted Elijah's. Um, Based on an ignorance, 7,000 others in Israel were still faithful to God. Even today, God often speaks through the gentle and obvious rather than the spectacular and unusual. God has work for us to do, even when we feel fear and failure. And God always has more resources and people than we know about. Although we might wish to do so amazing miracles for God, we should instead focus on developing a relationship with Him. The real miracle of Elijah's life was his very personal relationship with God, and that miracle is available to us. Strengths and accomplishments. One was the most famous and dramatic of Israel's prophets. Number two, predicted the beginning and end of the third drought. Number three, was used by God to restore the dead child and his mother. Number four, or represented God in a showdown, priest of Baal and Asherah. Number five, appeared with Moses and Jesus in the New Testament transfiguration scene. Weaknesses and mistakes. Chose to work alone and paid for it with isolation and loneliness. Number two, it fled in fear from Jezebel when she threatened his life. Lessons from his life. We are never close to defeat than in our moments of our greatest victory. Number two, we are never as alone as we might feel. God is always there. So that's number two. Number three, God speaks more frequently in persistent whispers than in shouts. Vital statistics where Gilead, occupation, prophet, comparisons, Ahab, Jezebel, Hosea, Obadiah, Jehu, Hazael. Key verse, 1 Kings 18:36-38, and it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening in a sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord, or God of Abraham, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant, and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Lord God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you. Again, then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, and the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. Elijah's story is told in 1 Kings 17:1 and 2 through 2 Kings 2:11. He is also mentioned in 2 Chronicles 21:12-15, in Malachi 4:5-6, Matthew 11:4, and Matthew 16:14, and Matthew 17:3-13, and Matthew 27:47-49, and Luke 1:17, and Luke 4:25-26, and John 1:19-25, and Romans 11:2-4, and James 5:17-18.